Protests continue in Kansas City as police investigate the shooting of 16-year-old Ralph Yaw.
Grounded once again, SpaceX calls off a Starship launch attempt.
And Uber is partnering with the president. A look at Biden's ambitious plan for electric vehicles today.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Sydney Jolivet.
And I'm Armando Berry. On Saturday, the town of West Texas remembered the lives of 15 people killed during an explosion that changed the course of the small town forever.
Today is the 10th anniversary of the West explosion when nearly 30 tons of ammonium nitrate exploded at the West Fertilizer Company plant following a fire. Over 260 people were injured and more than 150 buildings were damaged or destroyed.
Following the explosion, the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Board found that poor chemical storage and building safety measures created the perfect storm. However, these findings haven't led to better oversight or regulation of ammonium nitrate.
That's right. Fire and safety expert Dr. Vito Bobrovskis says there are over 1,300 ammonium nitrate storage facilities across the country, and many of them are built the same way as the facility in the West and are just as unsafe. He says that despite warning against stopping the chemicals in wooden barrels, facilities still do it, and the only way to prevent an explosive like this from happening again is by levying fines.
While U.S. fire marshals were given the power to inspect these facilities in 2015, agriculture industry lobbyists have largely stood in the way of any major changes to the policy.
However, here in Texas, a new bill has been passed by the Texas House that will make prescription drugs cheaper in the Lone Star State.
ntTV's Charles Ware has more on how this could change the lives of thousands of Texans. Charles?
Thanks, guys. A new bill called HB 25 could save Texas 60 to 70% on commonly used drugs, from EpiPens to cancer drugs to blood pressure treatment. The goal of the bill is to safely import cheap prescription drugs from Canada, since they pay half of what Texans pay on prescription drugs. This bill was passed almost unanimously with the 144 to 1 vote. HB 25 means a whole lot to us Texans, especially because Texas has the highest prescription drug prices in the world. If signed into law, the measure would take place September 1st, 2023. That's all the info I have on the bill. Don't forget to take your meds, and back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Charles. We'll be sure to follow this bill as it moves to the Senate chamber. You know, Sydney, it was kind of cold this morning. You think so?
No, I felt like it was a little colder last night. It kind of felt good outside this morning. But let's see what our weather anchor knows what's best.
This warm weather we've been seeing recently doesn't just draw people to the pool. It also coaxes snakes out of their slumber. While North Texas warms up and we begin to see more rain, these conditions force snakes to relocate and seek shelter. Snakes spend the winter months in a state of brumation, similar to hibernation, which is a state of partial dormancy. Some snakes that live here in North Texas include the copperhead, the cottonmouth, and the western diamondback rattlesnake. It is important that if you encounter any of these snakes to stay calm and keep your distance. Let's take a look at the weather right now. Right now, it is 74 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling the same with wind speeds pretty high at 11 miles per hour. We are going to get to enjoy some sun right now, so enjoy it while you can because this is all that we have for now. Tonight, it's going to be 78 degrees, warming up a little bit, feeling the same, and wind speeds are going to pick up to 17 miles per hour. We're going to start seeing some of those clouds, and it's going to continue into tomorrow. It's going to cool down to 74 degrees Fahrenheit and feel the same at 74, and wind speeds are going to pick up all the way to 20 miles per hour, so be aware of that. We are going to continue to see those clouds as well. That's all I have for now. Stick around for this week's full weather.
Thanks, Kayla. SpaceX has scrubbed its first launch of the most powerful rocket ever made due to a technical issue. The company says a pressurization issue forced the Starship team to call off Monday's inaugural flight and conduct a rehearsal launch instead. SpaceX says it could try the launch again in 2 days. From South Texas over the Gulf of Mexico, CEO Elon Musk described the Starship as the vehicle that embodies SpaceX's founding purpose, which is to send humans to Mars.
Texas State Capitol was evacuated Sunday after a bomb threat. The Austin Police Department said it received a 911 call from an unknown person who said there was a pipe bomb on the Capitol grounds. The Department of Public Safety cleared the area in search for a potential threat. No device was discovered, and officials eventually gave the all clear. According to the Austin PD, DPS Criminal Investigation Division is looking into the incident.
Kansas City teen Ralph Yar is in the hospital after he accidentally went to the wrong house to pick up his brothers and was shot by the homeowner. Police say Yar was supposed to go to 115th Terrace, but mistakenly went to 115th Street instead. Reporter Camila Bernal has more on the incident and the unrest that has followed.
The Kansas City community protesting on Sunday after 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was shot as he was trying to pick up his siblings last week. Police say Yarl accidentally went to the wrong address where he was shot and seriously wounded by the homeowner. Officers arrived at the scene after a neighbor called 911 and took the homeowner immediately into custody.
Our heart goes out to the juvenile victim, and more than anything, to make sure that this child and this child's family knows that there are people working hard, a number of people working hard, to make sure there is justice for this person.
The homeowner, who has not been identified, was released after 24 hours pending further investigation. The police department says they're waiting to obtain a formal statement from the victim and further forensic evidence.
I want everyone to know that I'm listening, and I understand the concern that we are receiving from the community. The information that we have now, it does not say that it's racially motivated. That's still an active investigation. But as a chief of police, I do recognize the racial components of this case. I do recognize and understand the community's concern.
Yarl's aunt says her nephew loves music and is a section leader in his marching band. She says his goal is to attend Texas A&M University to study chemical engineering. Civil rights attorneys Lee Merritt and Benjamin Crump are representing the victim and his family and demanding swift action, and are calling the shooting horrendous and unjustifiable.
As a mother of 3 children, this enrages me.
And protesters gathering Sunday outside the home where Yarl was shot, demanding justice.
He is alive. He is healing. Yes. So I just want to tell you thank you for being here, because my nephew is alive.
The homeowner was taken into custody but has been released. Missouri state law requires that a person either be charged or released after being held for 24 hours. Police say the investigation is ongoing.
You know, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and the issue of abortion remains front and center for the U.S. High Court. We've got the story after the break.
And if you're interested in supporting local farmers and artists, I have just the spot for you. Stick around, and I'll tell you more when we come back.
Did you know you have access to video equipment like DVDs, video games, and cameras? That's right, you do. Come on down to Chilton Library and fulfill your media dream. Located on the bottom floor next to the student sculpture. Hope to see you there soon.
Hey girl, you know you look good. I like the way you move and groove. I'm not sure.
Can I see your voter registration, please? All right, you're good. No registration, no entry. All right. Let me see your voter registration card, please.
I'm not registered to vote.
No registration, no entry.
Dude, my friends are already in there.
No registration, no entry.
What the?
Join the club. Register to vote today.
I'm here to rescue you.
Oh, my friends.
No so fast.
This story is going to be awesome.
The U.S. Supreme Court is handling the largest abortion-related dispute since Roe v. Wade was overturned last summer. The justices are considering a lower court ruling that would put restrictions on an abortion drug, and their final decision could come soon. CNN's John Lornick has more details.
Are we gonna back down?
Numerous abortion rights rallies were held over the weekend, including in Washington, D.C.
Extreme anti-abortion judges are attempting to steal our bodily autonomy.
And Los Angeles, where Vice President Kamala Harris made a surprise appearance.
When you attack the rights of women in America, you are attacking America.
These protests come days after a Texas judge suspended the FDA's decades-old approval of the abortion pill mifepristone.
Kind of assertion that the principal basis of the court case in Texas was about the safety. And I think specifically it said that it was supposed to, the accelerated pathway was supposed to approve a drug to treat an illness. It is a stretch to call a pregnancy an illness.
Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito extending a lower court's hold on the ruling at least until Wednesday night to allow the justices to fully examine the issue. In the meantime, sides remain drawn.
In my state, we are a pro-life state. We have legislation which is far more pro-life than it is in, say, California. But the Californians keep their law and we keep our law, and that's the way it's going to work out nationally.
If any Republican thinks that voters have simmered down on the abortion issue, they are wrong. It's going to that is going to continue well into the next presidential race.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Since the start of the 20th century, the FDA has been the only U.S. operation to regulate drugs. They were created in 1906 to enforce the Pure Food and Drug Act, which hopes to keep items like food and medicine safe.
The White House is ramping up efforts to expand access to electric vehicles in the U.S. It's announced new partnerships with Zipcar and Uber, round 2 of the Biden administration's EV Acceleration Challenge. This latest initiative includes Zipcar pleading to allocate 25% of its electric vehicles to disadvantaged communities this year. Uber has committed to reach 400 million miles driven by electric vehicles on its platform by the end of this year. Other companies also have pledged to invest in more charging stations. The administration says it's aiming to have 50% of all new vehicle sales by electric by the year 2030. It says since Biden took office, electric vehicle sales have tripled and the number of publicly available charging ports has grown by over 40%.
If you're from Denton, then you know the springtime means the return of the Denton Community Market. I went there this weekend to see how local farmers and artists are keeping it fresh. If you're in Denton and your refrigerator looks more like mine just because the healthier meals just seem more expensive, your solution may now be just a short drive away.
You have music, you have food, you have art, you have farmer-grown produce. It's just a wonderful place.
Denton's Community Market gives people the opportunity to gather and invest in not only fresher foods, but also in themselves.
You know, you're spending 20 cents more a pound or something, so you're not putting a whole lot more into it now, but if you take care of yourself now, you won't have to deal with spending more money on your health later.
Local farm owner Crystal Zuniga says what makes farm fresh food special is the same ingredient in Grandma's recipe.
Say you're at your grandma's house and you're eating like an amazing meal and you're like, this tastes amazing, right? And it's because she put love into it, right? She believes in it, in providing you with that kind of stuff. It's the same thing.
Besides the food, the market has something unique to offer adults, kids, and even college students.
Honestly, I think the location, you know, there's like the farmers market, but then there's also historical houses, you know, like this one right here and other ones that you get to tour. So I feel like that's really different. My friend got a tarantula and then we got some like butterfly wings, so that was fun. But yeah, I also love looking at like the jewelry and the tote bags and stuff. Here's the tarantula.
It's a place that lets you enjoy Denton in your own personal way.
It's like a really fun way to explore the city and like get your mind off of something else besides school.
Sydney, it was so much fun at that market. The weather was beautiful. I know I said I was supposed to be there for the greens, but I got me a little sample of the cheesecake. If I go back, I'm going for that.
That sounds like a good time. You know, I've actually never been to a market, so that's a good little preview of what I could expect. But I definitely agree with you on the weather. It was great, and I was able to experience it all weekend. Kayla, how will the rest of our week look?
Unfortunately, if you guys were hoping for some sun this week, I do have some bad news. Let's take a look. Right now in Denton, it is 74 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a little bit warmer than we've been seeing recently. In Gainesville, it is a little bit chillier at 65, and in Dallas, it is a nice 68 degrees. Across the state, we're seeing similar temperatures. In Amarillo, it is much chillier at a 62 degrees Fahrenheit. In El Paso, it's warmed up a little bit to 67 degrees. And in Houston, it's a nice 69. Let's take a look at this week's forecast. On Tuesday, it is starting off with clouds, which will reflect the rest of the week on a high of 79 and a low of 65. Wednesday, we are going to continue to see those clouds and some potential rain with a high of 81 and a low of 66, 60% chance of rain. Thursday, there will be storms as well, a high of 85 and a low of 59. Friday, there is more chances of rain, a high of 76 and a low of 48. We are going to see the weather plummet, get much colder, with a high of 64 and a low of 41. Sunday having a high of 66 and a low of 45, and Monday having a high of 70 and a low of 52. So we are going to continue to see clouds all week, so if you get to see any sun, enjoy it while you can. That's all I have for this week. Back to you at the desk.
Sad news to hear, Kayla. Sorry, I'm so upset about the weather, but we move on. Controversial topic in the workplace may not be a topic at all for much longer.
And when we come back, we'll take a look at the Crown Act in Texas and how it could impact you. Stick around.
I'm here to rescue you.
Oh, my prince.
No so fast.
This story is going to be awesome.
Can I see your voter registration, please? All right, you're good. No registration, no entry. All right. Let me see your voter registration card, please.
I'm not registered to vote.
No registration, no entry.
Dude, my friends are already in there.
No registration, no entry.
What the?
Join the club. Register to vote today.
You know, Armando, I always look forward to Mondays because I'll always receive something positive.
I love the positivity too. So let's go ahead and check out what our segment anchor Elizabeth Moreno has for us today. Elizabeth, take it away.
Thank you guys, and thank you viewers for tuning in today. A step in the right direction was taken last Thursday, according to supporters of the Crown Act. The Texas House passed the Crown Act bill that would prohibit hair discrimination. CROWN is an acronym for Create a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. The bill protects men and women from discrimination against styles and textures more commonly associated with race. This includes hairstyles like braids, locks, and twists. It intends to protect these hairstyles from discrimination in places of work or school. Dallas-based hairstylist Tanya Wilson, who works with nurses, doctors, lawyers, and other professionals in the corporate world, says it is important to shine from the inside out, and that there should not be a rule that says you can only wear your hair one way. A huge emphasis has been placed on passing similar acts and bills in other states since the 2019 incident in which 2 boys from a high school outside of Houston were instructed by school administration to cut their dreadlocks in order to walk at graduation. The Crown Act bill still has to pass the Texas Senate prior to reaching the governor's desk, but despite this, supporters of the bill claim it to be a step in the right direction. That's all I have for your segment of Positively North Texas. It's back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Not only was there a victory in the Texas House, UNT Sports has been winning a lot lately. I might try to catch a game.
Yes, and I heard we even got a 3P. Hey, look at us, you know. Let's catch up on all the sports with our sports anchor, Lillian Kosh, for all the details. Lillian?
Yes, our UNT women's golf team crushed it this season, but they aren't the only team in the DFW area that is on the up and up. I'll give you more after the break.
What does Talents do?
So I am the Vice President of External Relations for Talents. That means that I basically oversee all the external committees. Our external committees entail our Model A, it's a Mean Green Machine. So they bring it to football games especially, so every game it's kind of there, every home game. The Model A is like a symbol of UNC pride, and it's a big tradition that we are so lucky to uphold and maintain. When people look at it, they see it, and they're like, oh, that's the Mean Green Machine. There must be a game today or something to ramp up school spirit for basketball, softball, volleyball, any of those things. We have amazing teams, so we just want to show school spirit for them. Bonfire Committee, which is in charge of putting together the bonfire every year for homecoming. It's kind of just a whole semester-long process up until Build Week that we have to put together and oversee and make sure safety regulations are followed and risk management is taken care of. Cannon Crew, which oversees and takes care of the cannon. They fire it at games, they take it to special occasions.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh?
This 6-month journey of the 2022-2023 NHL regular season has come to an end, which means the playoffs are in full swing. Only 16 teams remain in the postseason bracket, including our very own Dallas Stars. They will be playing at the American Airlines Center tonight at 8:30 against the Minnesota Wild. This will be an interesting matchup where the NHL's 2021 top 2 rookies, Stars forward Jason Robertson and Wild's Kirill Kaprizov, will go head-to-head. This game will help determine who will continue the race for the 2023 Stanley Cup, so stay tuned. And as an Astros fan, this is a hard story for me. But for all you Rangers fans, last night was a big one. For the very first time in nearly 5 years, the Texas Rangers experienced their first series win at Houston against the Astros. The Rangers secured the series win in last night's game where they won 9-1. Ouch. It all started at the top of the third after Grossman made it to first base off an error on the Astros. From there, the Rangers took off and started bringing in some runs. The real kicker was when Marcus Semien hit a grand slam to catch a 6-run inning in the 7th. This series has the Rangers fans hopeful for the rest of the season. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll make it to the World Series. And the UNT women's golf team won its 3rd consecutive Conference USA Championship on Saturday at the PGA National. The team went into the tournament ranked number 35 in the Golf Stat National poll and finished by holding on to a 3-shot victory over 2nd place Western Kentucky. The three-peat is the first for the Conference USA team since South Florida won 3 straight championships from 1998 to 2000. This is a great send-off for the Mean Green as they prepare to make the move into the American Athletic Conference on July 1st. And last week, ntTV's reporter Spencer Grant had the opportunity to talk with UNT's athletic department about the noticeable improvement in their sports programs. Check it out.
While the University of North Texas isn't necessarily known for their athletics, that hasn't stopped the Mean Green from dramatically improving their athletic programs over the last few years. With UNT fresh off of a historic NIT championship win by the men's basketball team, the school looks to build on its already increasing momentum, as former athletic administrator and current Mean Green Sports Network announcer Hank Dickinson explains.
So North Texas has had to work very hard to have first-class facilities. You mentioned the indoor practice. That is a first-class facility, and that's not just a football facility. That's an impactful facility that gets used for a lot of things. Pat Green just played a concert there as a fundraiser. Yeah. So the IPF is a huge, wonderful addition, and I think the way Wren was able to brand Mean Green on the side, where you see that from the highway,
yeah,
it was a really good use of space in a lot of different ways.
While recruiting has been a big part of this, a strong sense of leadership and unity in the locker rooms has led to a winning culture that is now the school's standard.
The NIT run, I don't know if we could consider it unexpected when you really consider how good Conference USA was. The nation found out, thankfully, through FAU's run to a Final Four, the Mean Green's run to a title, and even Charlotte winning the CBI. Really good basketball. Probably should have had 2 teams in the NCAA, but you could argue that making a run to that and winning it from a branding standpoint for the University of North Texas, not just the Mean Green, was really huge.
Because of all this, the school spirit is at an all-time high, and the Mean Green family is excited to see how their athletics continue to grow from here.
I'm glad UNT Athletics is showing some improvement, but do you guys think they could actually break any records?
I wouldn't put any money on it, but can we talk about the 33-year-old guy from Australia breaking records in his town?
I saw that.
Heck yeah, we can, Armando. Lucas Helmke holds the world record for the most push-ups in 1 hour. He completed 3,206 push-ups within 1 hour. That's about 53 per minute.
You know, we actually tested it out backstage, and Armando can successfully do 60 push-ups in 60 seconds. Not bad.
I can do about 3. Upper body is not my strong suit, but I mean, if we're talking squats, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for today.
Thank you guys for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here on North Texas Television.